that's like mostly it. The only thing we haven't like really talked about, I guess, is just like single player content.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Which is pretty interesting. I honestly am so excited. I cannot wait to watch people play the story mode of Street Fighter 6. I hope it's like this randomly like super fun single player mode. You
You
know,
know, from the trailer, I can't even tell what's going on. Like,
it's
what's
weird,
even
man.
happening here?
It looks a lot like I don't even know if there's a good compare. Like it, what's someone mentioned a game that's a pretty good comparison to this, but I can't remember what it is off the top of my head right now.
It kind of reminds me of Spider-Man, honestly.
Yeah, it's in the realm of a game like that, where it's kind of like open world. There's specific places you can go, and there's just like different modes that you can do.
Yeah,
I've definitely played the same.
yeah, for this, I could definitely tell you're making your own custom character. But
Yeah,
like,
you have like a
how
little
are you gonna
create your
tie this into a
character.
fighting game, though? That's the big question. See, there's like, that's I don't think that's any character from the face. Like, you probably just make your own. But like, what are you gonna do? How the question is how you're gonna tie it. Like, you know how games like, let's say, Smash Brothers Melee or Brawl had that was it Subspace Emissary on Brawl? Like, you know, you
Hmm.
got like instead of this platform like versus game, now you have a single player side scroller game that's built on the same engine. Um I mean not same engine per se, but like the same concept. But now you're playing single player with like normal enemies and platform like more platforming and
Yeah,
stuff like that. But it's still
essentially,
tied to the game.
the thing about this is like I wonder what they're going to be able to let you do outside of obviously just fighting people
Yeah.
inside of the Street Fighter 6 engine, which is like what everyone's expecting it to be. Obviously, it's like, hey, go do these random chores. Hey, I need you to fight this old Chinese woman at this shop or something. And then it's like, cool, I fight, in Street Fighter 6 mechanics now or something. So the thing that's interesting about this mode is I'm really curious what they're trying to do to make it feel like a single player experience because there's a
Yeah.
lot of interesting takes, right? Like Xrd has MOM mode, and I don't know if you ever played MOM mode, but it's basically they were smart about what they realized their limitations were, right? They don't
Yeah.
have like an open world you run around in,
Yeah.
but instead when you play MOM mode, it is not just Guilty Gear.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
is, Potemkin doing an air dash. It is Eno
it's
with
like
Aegis
RPG
Reflector.
kind of
It's
in a
yeah,
way.
it's the game that you understand like at a fundamental level, but there's all these weird, interesting gimmicks that make it like a unique experience in a
Yeah,
single player way. And so it's like I really hope that they can do something. The problem is like it's cool that I can walk around and run around Metro City and talk to
yeah,
these strangers, but it's like if I legitimately can only like Shoryuken, that's kind of weird. Like
yeah. It
the
just
the
feels
thing
like a lot
is,
of wasted effort, right? Just to make an empty
yeah,
space because you just end up fighting somebody on the streets and you're
in
just gonna
Street,
go to
yeah,
this mode where
Street
it's like
Fighter 6
fight.
mode,
It's
yeah.
like okay, you know, it's like
So it seems like a really easy like mistake they could end up making, where it's just
yeah,
it's cool and it makes the game feel a little more immersive because
hmm
instead of looking at a world map that goes Japan and then it
yeah,
zooms in on that part of the world map and now you're fighting the character that's from Japan.
yeah,
It's like, well, at least now you walk over to Hugo's junkyard and you fight Hugo there, which is like
yeah,
that's for what it's worth. There's more immersion, like there just is.
yeah.
Um,
I just hope there's more meaning than just like
yeah.
yeah, like being
I
able to
I,
do
I would
more.
hope I would hope at the very least, like if they want to do that, that's still okay. I just hope maybe they take a bit of an MOM approach to it, and
Yeah,
it's like, you start off and you have like 5 drive gauge, but you can get all these cool upgrades and customizables.
oh
By
yeah,
the end of the
yeah.
game, you have like 20 drive gauge. You're doing like
Oh yeah, yeah,
super
yeah.
custom combos,
Yeah, like an action RPG, right? You just level up
Yeah.
your character to do more things.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then it's like Ryu just has more stuff in like this mode than normal, or his Tatsu's like plus or
yeah.
whatever. Like,
You know what? You know what? You know what? I think you're right on the spot with that. Like looking at this trailer, making your own character, you're probably gonna start adding like you could. I don't know, maybe like EXP points or whatever. It'd be like I'm gonna now
yeah,
go learn Shoryuken, or I'm gonna learn like Hadouken, and
yeah,
like
like
you.
if they just actually take this normal model, like this super generic looking character that you design, and he can learn whatever moves he wants. You can spend to learn more drive gauge so
Like
that you
Soul
have like
Calibur.
double the drive gauge
Yeah.
that's like that's like normal. I think that'd be cool. Like it's so much better than just creating a world that it adds immersion, but like if I go and I fight in literally just the Street Fighter 6 engine, that's not like particularly interesting. You know, at the
Yeah.
very least, like you have to spice it up. You have to make it like MOME.
Yeah, no, I think
Uh,
I think you're on the spot, and like maybe if you walk around the places, you find like special moves that you could only get in this like hidden alley, like after you showed you in a garbage
yeah.
can, you
There's
know?
there's there's a lot of like very subtle ways they could probably like circumvent the limitations you would expect them.
Yeah,
There's a lot of little things. It could be like certain missions are defeating multiple people like on the same life gauge or whatever. Now
yeah,
it's like it just has to be like the same idea of like, yeah, you know, me versus my opponent, we have gauges, HP, whatever. But
yeah,
all of the other stuff should be like variable. They should find as
yeah.
many interesting ways as they can.
You know what? I,
And
I like that idea, and you know maybe
because
you could just have like a just the literal MMM versus mode where you just have like you make your crazy custom characters. You just fight each other. It's not even ranked, but you just doing really stupid things. You know?
I mean, that would be extra. That
Yeah.
would be great if you could even do that. That's like more. That's above and beyond than I would expect.
Yeah,
You to
I
do.
would love to see that. Like just have like that's I think that would be like the ultimate casual experience to be like, hey, I'm gonna level my character, I'm gonna add in all these stupid moves, like check out this combo that I made up, you know, kind of situation. Or like it's like Mugen, you know?
Yeah, it's very Mugen-esque. Yeah.
Yeah, I would love that. That would be really cool. Like
I would appreciate it because there are some people that definitely. I think I saw like 2 or 3 people like who saw the like overworld and got really excited about like, oh, you know, I imagine like what can you do in the overworld, and I was like, honestly, I think them doing the overworld, they should really care way less about the overworld because like at this point it's very unlikely you're about to design an
oh yeah.
overworld game on
Yeah.
top of Street Fighter
No,
6.
no, no,
You
no,
really
no.
should
No.
just make
Yeah.
it like a thing that you run around in, and that's
Yeah.
it.
I'm at this
And
point, I'm even surprised they have something this detailed in like sprawling. Like this is insane to me. Like having something
yeah,
like this and be able to walk
even
around
even,
it.
even
I'm
just
like,
having the ability to walk around is pretty.
it's just that's insane to me. That's crazy. But yeah, I think it's cool. It's for me. It's like I never thought of it the way you did, but I really like your idea. It's for me. It's either that or you have something like I keep bringing up this side scroll beat 'em up kind of thing. Like was it Guilty Gear Iska with like the Final Fight-ish Guilty Gear? Like having something like that, and
Yes, that's Isekai.
yeah, so something like that where like you have these mobs that you can learn the game off of, like I'll say like, hey, yellow enemies block lows, red enemies block high, and blue enemies block all, so you gotta throw them, you know, something like that. Then you can learn the
Yeah.
game while you're playing it, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the thing about it is like, I think maybe at times like, so the thing is, I'm cool with like single player modes like helping teach people like the game. But I also think like it's okay to just have a single player mode that is like it deviates from it. Like it
Oh,
shouldn't
yeah,
it
yeah,
shouldn't like you know you'll have a tutorial, like it's
Yeah.
fine. So you can have a tutorial to teach people the game, and like I'd much rather them just have a really crazy single player mode than try to strike a balance of like teaching people Street Fighter 6 while also having a single player mode. That'd be cool, but honestly me, I'd rather just them have a good tutorial and then a really good story mode, like a really good
Okay.
single player on its own.
You know
'Cause
what?
the thing about it is like someone might even make like a really weird claim and say like, oh, but if you know what if you let someone have like 20 drive gauge and have custom combos where they do Chun-Li EXs and the Ryu EXs, they're never going to want to play Street Fighter 6. Then my response to that is, dude, that guy was never going to play Street Fighter 6 anyway. Like
Yeah,
no one, you know what I mean?
probably.
Like do you really think someone who like played for that experience is going to go and play Street Fighter 6? No, they just played a single player experience. Like
Yeah.
that guy is probably just gonna go play Devil May Cry now or something. He's not.
Yeah.
There's no saying like just like if you had made the story mode about like teaching him how to confirm into his EX and the EX is going to supers. Like that's not like he'd probably like a person like that might just play the game and get kind of bored. It doesn't necessarily mean they'll learn Street Fighter 6.
Yeah.
I think
mean, if
it's
they
pretty
do, it's a good
overall,
thing.
yeah.
That's all it is, right?
Yeah.
But I think
But
the whole
I'm
single player thing is like, hey, I hope you enjoy this game, and I hope you also play multiplayer and stick around with us, you know, kind of situation.
Yeah, but I'm a much bigger fan of. I'm totally cool with the story mode just being super different, super different. Someone pays $60 or $70 or whatever for this game. There should be a lot of content. If
Yeah.
they're like, I would love if there was just a dude who booted up Street Fighter 6 and just played the story mode. He
Yeah,
didn't
yeah,
give
yeah.
a damn about versus mode because that's how good the story mode is. That's how
Yeah.
fun this little single player mode is, you know.
I would love that. It's kind of like now that I think about it, the way you say it, it's the same when I play FPSs. When I was younger, I would play FPSs, you know, I play versus
Oh, yeah.
competitively.
Yeah.
Like I'll play Unreal Tournament, you know. God, I feel like a boomer, but I mean I am a boomer. But anyways, like I would play Unreal Tournament. I didn't even care about like story mode, but nowadays, yeah, I want there to be an end, you know. Like I do like games like Counter-Strike, but I rather play Doom and you know not even touch. I play both Dooms, the new Dooms, and I'm like I never ever touch multiplayer because I don't really care, you know. It's like
Exactly, yeah.
so I think it's one of those where I'm gonna hijack your thing, but I don't care if it's different or similar. If it's for me, it's more like why not both, right? If you can, of course it's gonna cost money and time and all that kind of stuff, but there's always this thing, why not both?
Some people just know what they want. You can't sell people everything all the time, you know.
Yeah.
That's why, like, I know it's a relatively popular take, I think, for people to like talk about how it's like, how do you make the single player experience really sell, you know, fighting games as a whole to people? And I don't really know if you can like do that properly or like perfectly. I'd honestly much rather people just make good tutorials. If someone wants to do the tutorial, they'll do the tutorial,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you just make a real single player, a really
Yeah.
wacky independent single player. I hope that's what this game is. I'm kind of worried. I kind of feel like they're gonna have a cool little open world you run around in, but it's definitely just gonna be like once you find Chun-Li, you just fight Chun-Li.
Yeah, I rather not. It's just I don't want it to be just fluff. I'm with
Yeah.
you on that. Like if you're gonna make this effort of making a world this big and vibrant, and like please not just make it fluff.